Hello and welcome to Suffolk U News, the weekly news program brought to you by the Department of Communication and Journalism at Suffolk University. I'm Jared Doherty.
And I'm Casey Hall. Today we have live coverage of the Verizon strike.
And are people still concerned about traveling overseas?
But first, let's take a glimpse at the spring weather coming up. How's it looking, Shauna?
It is beautiful outside of my window, but unfortunately I can't say that for everyone across the country. Stay tuned to SU News to see if there's snow in your forecast.
SU News, I'm Jared Doherty.
And I'm Casey Hall. Almost 40,000 Verizon workers are on strike, and it heads into its third week. It doesn't look like it was coming to an end anytime soon. The strike has been affecting service across the state and the East Coast, including New York, Massachusetts, and Virginia. Workers have been fighting for job security and health care after their contracts ended in August.
Joining us live from downtown Boston is SU News reporter Jeanette Orihel, where she has the latest on the battle between Verizon and workers. Jeanette?
As you can see, the battle is not over here at the Verizon headquarters in downtown Boston. Verizon employees have been picketing all day long here and at Verizon store locations because they want to show the company that they will not put up with what they call corporate greed.
For the past 2 weeks, Verizon communication workers have been walking the picket line. These workers outside the Verizon headquarters in Boston are part of a massive strike. Their contract expired in August, and now almost 40,000 East Coast union members have walked out of their jobs and onto the sidewalk. One of the biggest concerns for employees, job security.
It seems like American jobs more and more every year go overseas, and I'm here fighting for my job.
Employees say not only does Verizon want to ship jobs overseas, but they also want to be able to move members to other states along the East Coast for up to 2 months at a time.
If the company were hurting financially, we'd be flexible and willing to work with them. But the bottom line is the company is making $1 billion to $1.5 billion a month in profit.
We want respect for the middle class and what they've done for this company that's making as much money as them. We built that network. We maintain that network.
The strikers represent customer service employees, repairmen, and other service workers. Their concerns? Fair contracts and health care benefits, not only for their current employees, but also retired members of the union.
We literally have retired members who are making a decision between paying for health insurance and paying their rent, and that's just wrong.
And now Verizon has issued a statement that as of May 1st, they will cut off all benefits to their employees.
It goes to get the company to go back to the bargaining table and to seriously bargain for an equitable contract to be fair on both sides.
Now, employees say they don't know how long they will be out here, but they're willing to stay out here as long as it takes to get fair contracts. Live in downtown Boston, I'm Jeanette Orihel, Suffolk U News.
Thank you, Jeanette. Suicide rates have jumped 24% since 1999, with the biggest increase among women. Federal researchers say there is an increase among white and Native American women. There isn't a clear explanation for the spike, but some experts say that, quote, increased use of social media may have an impact on statistics. The CDC says that the suicide is the second leading cause of death among children and young aged 10 to 24.
Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker is backing the ban on people under 21 from purchasing tobacco products. The state Senate is scheduled to debate raising the minimum age purchase of tobacco from 18 to 21. The ban is meant to discourage more young people from taking up smoking. On Friday, Baker said he supports the idea, but would need to see the bill's final language before signing it.
Hillary Clinton is considering potential running mates for vice president, and a familiar Massachusetts name has made the list. The New York Times reporter on Saturday reported that former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick is being considered as a potential vice president nominee. Patrick has not officially endorsed a presidential candidate, and in the past has repeatedly denied that he would consider a vice presidential nominee if called on.
Trump, Clinton, Cruz, and Sanders all have one thing in common: they want the millennial vote. But will that key demographic actually make it to the polls in November?
We spoke to some millennial voters to get their take on the upcoming election.
Vote, I would probably vote for Bernie Sanders, just because I think that he's one of the few candidates who is actually going to represent the American people and what is right for them.
I don't really follow American politics, but if I had to choose, I would vote for Bernie Sanders.
A chance to vote, I would probably vote for Bernie Sanders, and the only reason is because I agree the way he's bringing young people together. He's trying to build a middle class. I think that is going to benefit.
After the Brussels terror attack, security has been heightened at airports and train stations all around the world. But do commuters feel safe? SU News reporter Rosanna Corrado has more.
Millions of people who walk through these doors are more nervous than ever, just for work, school, or just because it's a common necessity. Sanjay Vidula is no exception.
I also don't feel that safe because right now, every day I get up in the morning, every day I see that some city is getting attacked, some airport is getting attacked, a Russian plane going down, some country or the other having some bomb attack or something else. So plus I commute a lot every day, like almost I commute for almost 2 hours every day.
Travelers, like Mariana Silva, are worried for more than just themselves.
Yeah, I actually have a 6-year-old brother who goes to the park all the time, so that freaks me out because, like I said, you just never know when it's going to happen, and it's been happening so often, so it's definitely scary.
With terrorist attacks around the world, people are much more aware of their surroundings, but won't let them limit their everyday travels.
I mean, I definitely don't want it to stop me from traveling anywhere. You just kind of have to live in the moment and just see, I mean, whatever happens. It's not gonna have a setback on what I want to do or anything, so I'll just definitely be more aware of it.
Reporting for SU News, this is Rosanna Corrado.
The $20 bill is getting a facelift. Literally, the new face that will replace President Andrew Jackson is abolitionist Harriet Tubman. This change marks history as Tubman will become the first African American to appear on U.S. currency and the first woman in more than a century. The $5, $10, and $20 bills will all be redesigned over the next 4 years. The legendary music icon Prince is dead at the age of 57. The entertainer was found unresponsive inside of an elevator at his Paisley Park Studios in Minnesota on Thursday. The cause of death has yet to be determined, and authorities say it may be another 4 weeks before autopsy results are released. Sources close to the singer confirm that he has since been cremated.
Coming up next, find out what Roxbury residents are doing after officials announced plans to build a gas line through their neighborhood.
The Boston Marathon female winner is doing something original with her trophy. Find out what that is next.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to SU News. I'm Jared Doherty.
And I'm Casey Hall. A sad story coming from rural Ohio this week after 8 members of the same family were killed execution style at 4 separate homes. 7 adults and 1 16-year-old boy were among the victims. 3 children, ranging from 4 years old to 3, survived the killings. Police have warned residents that the killers or killer are still on the loose and are potentially armed and dangerous.
There aren't enough medical professions trained to perform examinations for rape kits in Massachusetts. A study by the Government Accountability Office found that our state was among 6 other states that didn't meet their need of sexual assault examiners. Massachusetts has only 141 examiners, which is about 2 for every 100,000 people.
The battle against a local natural gas pipeline is still going strong. Neighbors and activists are coming together to once again make their voices heard. SU News reporter Jeanette Oriel takes us to West Roxbury, where residents were marching against the pipeline.
Rain did not stand in the way for these residents. A cause they believe in: stop the pipeline. A rally in West Roxbury brought out hundreds of anti-pipeline protesters. On Saturday, they marched through the streets for what they've been fighting against for more than 2 years: the construction of a high-pressure natural gas pipeline. The Texas-based company Spectra Energy recently began construction in April after putting a hold on their project in the fall of 2015. Residents are outraged and say this pipeline that will run right past their homes is dangerous and unnecessary.
We shouldn't be spending billions on new pipeline infrastructure for fossil fuels when we should be investing in renewables.
The West Roxbury Lateral Pipeline is part of a greater system of high-pressure gas pipes that travel along the East Coast, and local elected officials have been fighting to shut it down.
We appealed it. We're currently appealing it in federal court through the mayor and state rep, state senator, and the city council and congressman as well. So we're going to continue to do what we do, but this is just a reckless idea, and we want to see it stopped.
Just last week, a different natural gas pipeline was suspended. Energy company Kinder Morgan suspended further work on their pipeline that was supposed to run through northern Massachusetts. Kinder Morgan cited inadequate commitment from prospective customers, and now protesters' attention is back on the pipeline running through West Roxbury.
Now, Spectra might be riding high off this victory too, thinking that they now have a monopoly over the gas industry in Massachusetts.
No way!
But boy, are they mistaken. They don't have the slightest clue what's coming for them.
To my right is the proposed location of the metering and regulating station where Spectra Energy recently began construction. Now, workers were not out here today, but community members still wanted to show their resistance. They tied hundreds of these red ribbons all across the fences surrounding the site to show Spectra that they are not giving up the fight. In West Roxbury, I'm Jeanette Oriel, Suffolk News.
A new study conducted by the World Cancer Research Fund has determined that diets containing increased amounts of processed meat and alcohol can lead to a greater risk of stomach cancer. The study suggests that 50 grams per day of processed meat increases the chance of stomach cancer by 18%. Roughly 3 alcoholic drinks specifically increases the risk for stomach cancer. The World Cancer Research Fund recommends avoiding processed meat and alcohol whenever possible.
The debate to legalize marijuana for medical and recreational use is still ablaze.
SU News reporter Brianna Silva went down to the Boston Common for 420 to get the public's opinion about the drug.
Hundreds of people gathered in the Boston Common on 420 to celebrate all things marijuana. Fans of the drug have marked this special day as a day to roll weed. But according to Billy Bones, the president of MassCan NORML, the state has a deeper meaning than most would imagine.
A moment of peace to give a man now and others that have fallen to this prohibition, not being able to get the medicines they need.
Bones gathers each year in the Common with attendees of all ages to honor the life of Mike Malter, a cannabis activist who was better known to some as the King of Pot.
He was really, got people involved in that. Unfortunately, he had passed away a few years back, and they raised money for this bench. So people come here and they share a moment and do what we can do here in Massachusetts now is smoke pot.
Through gatherings such as the Freedom Rally and votes, residents are hopeful that Massachusetts will soon change their laws on both the medical and recreational use of marijuana.
And let Massachusetts governor know that it's time. It's time for cannabis research in Massachusetts. It's time for people, recreational or medicinally, to be able to have their cannabis.
The winner of the Boston Marathon is donating her trophy to one of the sport's greatest pioneers. Atsida Besa says she was inspired by Bobby Gregg's story after hearing that Gibbs snuck onto the course in 1966 and became the first woman ever to finish the race. Gibbs said she will only keep the trophy for 1 year.
President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama met with the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge in London this past Friday. Prince William and Duchess Kate had dinner at Kensington Palace with the Obamas along with Prince Harry. And stealing the spotlight was the adorable Prince George, who got to stay up 15 minutes past his bedtime to meet with the special guests. Suffolk University sold the Archer and Donahue buildings in Beacon Hill.
We are live with what the future holds for these two buildings, coming up next.
Hey Gabby, how you doing? How's the play date and sleepover?
Dad, it was great.
Awesome. Okay, I'm on my way. Hey guys, what are you doing?
We're going swimming! We're going biking! Yeah!
I'll see you in a little bit, guys. I love you.
Hi, babe. How was school today?
Hi, Dad. It was great.
Okay, honey. I'll be home soon. Remember, you're never too far away from your kids to be a dad. Reach out and take a second to check in, because sometimes the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back to SU News. I'm Jared Doherty.
And I'm Casey Hoff. It's been a chilly couple of days compared to last week. Let's check in with SU News weather reporter Shauna Newcomb. Shauna, will I ever be able to put my winter jacket away?
Well, I mean, you'd think so. It's almost May. But some people, you better keep those jackets around. It's still snowing in some parts of the country. Over here in Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, it's still snowing. But as you go lower down to the New England area, it's a little bit more moderate temperatures. I know we have one crew member who's headed to southern New York this weekend. So yes, go ahead and wear those shorts, Brian. All right, let's take a closer look to Massachusetts. Again, moderate temperatures here. Of course, along the coastline, you're experiencing a little bit drop in temperature, as well as over here in Worcester, the western part of the state. Let's take a closer look at the 5-day forecast here in the greater Boston area. Today's the pick of the week. It's nice and sunny outside, 58 degrees. It's going to drop a little bit in temperature throughout the rest of the week, but still pretty sunny outside. I'd say the cloudiest day this week is going to be Sunday, but don't worry, it's still a little bit warmer than most days. So far we're having a very positive springtime. Back to you, Casey and Jared.
Thank you, Shauna. I look forward to at least the sunny week ahead. It's better than snow. Anything's better than snow. Contractors have big plans for the two former Suffolk University buildings located in Boston's historic Beacon Hill. SU News reporter Eric Calander has the details. Eric?
Thanks, Jared. I'm here outside of Donahue right now, where students are still taking classes, but over the next year or so, the buildings might take on a new look.
In efforts to consolidate Suffolk's campus, the school is parting ways with two of its buildings. The Gleason L. and Hiram J. Archer and Frank J. Donahue buildings have officially been sold to JDMD owner for $43.5 million. Although the school is still using the buildings, some classes and offices have been moved to the newly built 20 Somerset building. As a plan to centralize the campus around Tremont and Beacon Streets, the school also sold the John E. Fenton building last year and plans to sell the Ridgeway building as well. As for Archer and Donahue, there's a proposal for 75 new condos, including a 5,000 square foot residential area and a 60-car garage, as well as penthouse floors in each building. Archer, built in 1920, will retain its Renaissance Revival style, like many buildings in Beacon Hill, while the newer Donahue building will be redeveloped to match with the rest of the neighborhood.
Now, although the buildings have been sold, the university is still using them under a new lease agreement with the new owners. But come next fall, most classes will have been moved to new buildings, including the new 20 Somerset building. For SU News, I'm Eric Calander. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Eric. A former New England Patriot and Boston College football player has died this week. Ron Brace, a former defensive tackle, passed away at the age of 29. Brace was the 40th overall pick in the 2009 NFL Draft. In 4 years with New England, he tallied 39 tackles and a forced fumble. The cause of death has yet to be determined.
A popular family restaurant is shutting down at the Burlington Mall. Find out why.
And hear what a young woman is doing to keep her friend's memory alive after a senseless murder. Stay with us.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Oh, look, a redhead.
Staring contest!
You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Welcome back to SU News. I'm Jared Doherty.
And I'm Casey Hall.
You may want to think twice before you or your kid drink from a public school water fountain. 2 Boston schools have been tested with high levels of lead in the water fountains. 4 fountains at the Thomas J. Kenny Elementary School in Dorchester and 1 fountain at the Rafael Hernandez School in Roxbury were shut down. Mayor Marty Walsh said that they will be addressing the situation immediately, and in a statement from Boston Public Schools, officials claim they will provide bottled waters to the students until the situation is fixed.
The Jungle Book is leading the pack at the box office for a second week in a row. The live-action remake of Disney's 1967 animated classic has earned nearly $200 million in just 10 days since its release. So far, The Jungle Book has already earned the 4th highest-earning movie of the year. A tragic death of a Charlestown teen still has friends and family reeling 2 years later. SU News reporter Katie Martineau tells us of one high school senior who remembers her best friend each and every time she takes the ice.
He should be remembered as the type of kid that he wanted the best for everyone else. He didn't deserve for this to happen to him.
This shamrock patch is a constant reminder of what happened 2 years ago. Rose Sullivan, much like the rest of Charlestown, is still coming to terms with Ryan Morrissey's death. Her best friend was shot in a case of mistaken identity.
He knew that people loved him and he loved us, so we just remember him as not only our best friend, but kind of as like a brother to the boys in my group.
Rose is now a senior at Matignon High School in Cambridge, where this past hockey season her team made it to the semi-state finals, before falling to the eventual state champion. A run she credits to her friend.
So for me, wearing the patch was, not only for Ryan, but for mainly all of Charlestown that knew what was happening, for the people who didn't know what was happening, mainly to know that win or lose, even if it was a hard game, a good game, a bad one, Ryan was still happy that we made it this far.
Rose will play lacrosse at Salem State this fall, but she still sees hockey as her safe haven, a game she and Ryan shared together.
Hockey, when I stepped on the ice, all the problems that I had, all the bad memories, all the things that were making me anxious or angry or frustrated, I forgot about them when I'm out on the ice, stick handling, or if I'm skating up the ice and I just feel like the breeze hitting my face. It was good stress reliever.
It is time to say goodbye to part of the rainforest. That is, the Rainforest Cafe restaurant in the Burlington Mall. The family-friendly, jungle-themed restaurant has been a treat to many kids since the late 1990s, but it will be torn down and renovated into a furniture store. The closing of the restaurant is part of the Burlington Mall's renovation plans to help rebuild the exterior of the mall. There are no other Rainforest Cafe locations in Massachusetts, And the next closest one is in New Jersey and New York, which this is a shame. I remember going there as a kid, and it was always a great time. We used to get like those lava desserts. It was such a great time. So it's going to be a shame yet travel all the way to New York for it.
Jared, that place is so cool. I don't know what we're going to do without it. A legendary musician is making his way to Boston this summer. Find out how you can be one-on-one with the singer next.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to SU News. I am Jared Doherty.
And I'm Casey Haw. Calling all Beatles fans, Paul McCartney will be performing at Fenway Park on July 17th. The Boston Red Sox have announced the stadium is a venue for McCartney's one-on-one tour. This will be the 14th show for the former Beatle. He played the ballpark twice in 2009 and again in 2013. So we're back here with Sean at the desk. Let's talk a little more weather. There was a lot of snow yesterday, but sunny this week. What's going on?
I know, I don't really have the answer to that, but I hope we have some bright sunny days in our forecast. I'm sick of seeing the Red Sox freezing out there.
Yeah, I mean, I was in Rochester yesterday, and it was snowing. So, I mean, basically the Red Sox are going to have to build a new stadium to block out all the snow because, like, what is happening here?
Lucky they're in Houston where it's warm. That's all we have. We'll be back, or we won't, because that's the end of the semester. Thank you for joining. We'll see you later.